If I was to ask you right now, and I know you're just like you're an honest fighter, you're an honest person, you'll put it straightforward. If there was one fight, forget about what side of the street, but if there was one fight that Terence Crawford would like to have before he finishes up his career, who would that fight be?
I would have had to say it would have been Pacquiao and Spence. It would have been them two. Pacquiao, for one, I've been, you know, in line to fight him, supposedly in line to fight him
Sure.
since 2015 after I beat Derrick John. And, every fight, it was like, all right, I need this fight to pass the torch to go to the next level. But I felt like I was being stringed along with the promises of fighting Manny Pacquiao. Granted, this last time that me and Manny Pacquiao was going to fight, it was very close. It was within just signing the contract, and then him and Spence signed. So that really was a heartbreaking moment for me. But at the same time, I was happy for Spence because, hey, that if he beat Manny Pacquiao, then it makes me and his fight much bigger.
Of course.
So, those two fights was on my main priority list. And given that those two is fighting now, I can't do nothing but be a fan of watching it.
Do you have hope when it's over with that you will get the winner?
I hope. You know how it is. They say one thing, and then after the fight's over, then it's another excuse, I should say. But they playing the game. They playing the game.
Who wins that fight, Pacquiao or Spence?
That's going to be a tough one, because when you think about Manny, it's hard to count Manny out. Manny's been around the block multiple times, in and out. But at the same time, Spence is a big, strong fighter that's put a lot of pressure on, and got a great jab. In southpaw, we haven't seen Manny fight a southpaw since I could remember. And the last time I remember somebody going southpaw on Manny Pacquiao was Eric Morales, and he gave Manny Pacquiao a lot of trouble in that fight. I think he won that fight. I think that was the first fight. But I just think, Spence being longer and with that jab is going to be making Manny, reach and jump in. But at the same time, Manny's feet is so fast to get around on an angle, and his hands is so fast that can, throw Spence off as well. So I don't know. I got it as 50-50 fight right now, being that we seen how Jeff Horn roughed up Pacquiao, and if Spence can do the same thing and get Manny off his game, then he can win the fight.
And Manny, listen, look, the X factor we all know. Manny's 42 years old. I mean, that's what makes what he's done with Thurman, what he's been doing, just so extraordinary. Have you ever seen a fighter, like Manny, Terence, that at this age could perform at this level?
Not at all. Not at all. You look at Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd's not fighting these young, undefeated, hungry lions. So I really can't say Floyd is fighting at the level that Manny Pacquiao is fighting at. It's a thing to see for somebody that age to be still fighting at the level that he's fighting at.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It really is, and it's why Manny's a legend, and it speaks to his greatness. Why he's so darn special. The way you broke down the analysis of that fight, I have two things to say. One is that you could do this when you retire. You could be good at this. And number two, I'm wondering if you saw my fight plan that I did, because I did a fight plan on this. It hasn't been released yet. I was wondering if you got a sneak peek at it, because we did a fight plan that's going to be coming out pretty soon on that fight with Pacquiao of course, in Spence, and the way you broke it down, wow, you I would have thought you saw it.
Hey, Terence, can I ask you one last question before we let you go? I would be remiss if I didn't ask. I think that Crawford Spence is the biggest fight. Maybe, I mean, the heavyweights get a lot of attention, but I think it's the biggest fight to make in boxing for a long time, probably with Mayweather Pacquiao. Like I said, outside of the heavyweights. Assuming you both win there, what do you think the chances are that we get that fight? You and Errol Spence.
I don't know. If business is right, I think you can get that fight right after both of our fights if we both successful.
From a fan's perspective, I just want to put this out there that to me, that's a 50-50 fight. Now, again, I'm sure your promoters will both feel different, but I would love to see you guys get together and say, look, let's just do a 50-50 with a rematch clause, 60-40 for the winner of the first one. Let's just get it on. I mean, how hard is it to get this kind of deal done?
Well, it's to me it ain't nothing but a conversation, but behind closed doors is everybody feels that they deserve this and they deserve that, so that's where the feud begins.
Well, you can let them know that we think it's 50-50 for the first one.
With everything you've accomplished already, Terence, I mean, you've won 3 titles in 3 different weight classes. You're the first fighter to win 4 belts and hold them at the same time. So you've done some pretty damn good things. And hey, listen, you're on my list as pound for pound. That's pretty good too, because that's number 1. Not everybody gets up there. So with all that, how does Terence Crawford feel that if you retired, let's just say, I know you have a lot of fights in front of you, I get it, but if you were to retire tomorrow, are you satisfied with your legacy? Or do you need those signature fights? Ali had Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard had Hearns and Duran and Hagler. Do you need that kind of fight to secure your legacy in your mind?
Actually, no. I feel like I did everything that I dreamed of. My ultimate dream was to become a world champion. And I did that in 2014 against Ricky Burns. So I had put extra dreams on top of dreams on top of dreams. And after conquering my goals after goals after goals after goals, it feels like I was stagnant and, shelved from fighting these other top fighters because I was such a threat. So what they did was they said, oh, no, we just going to weigh him out because he's not part of our side of. I never heard somebody say he's on the wrong side of the street until it came with Terence Crawford. So if I was to retire tomorrow, I'll be great and happy with my career because I've done a lot in the sport of boxing.
And I'll fill one in for you, and I'm sure that this is it's probably at the forefront of your mind and your heart. You've taken care of your family. You have a beautiful family with 5 beautiful children, and you've done what,
6.
right? Yeah, no, it's true, and you've done what every father wants to do. You've secured their future.
For sure, and I did everything that I set my sights on doing, except for becoming undisputed in the welterweight division.
How frustrating is it for you not to be able to get those signature fights? Because like you said, I mean, I think it's pretty well known that, like you said, Terence is on the wrong side of the street from, let's face it, PBC has the majority of the other champions in the welterweight. But like Teddy said, most people have you as number 1, if not number 1 and 2 with Errol Spence. How frustrating is it to not be able to get those fights? Because I get the feeling you really want them. And I sense your frustration, but I'm curious to hear how you feel.
It's very frustrating at a point, but at another point, I know the business side. They're not gonna let me come over there and beat one of their champions just to take the belt back over to Top Rank. Just like Top Rank not gonna let them come over there and beat one of their champions and take it back to PBC if they had a whole stable of welterweights. So one part of me gets frustrated, but the other part of me say, okay, it's business. I understand it. So I just sit back and just fight the fights that's in front of me and keep looking spectacular and keep putting my stamp down as the best fighter in the world.